Terrion Ware here at Systems Training Center. It's exciting to be, one of the guys that on the card that's transitioned from, when it was, just BAMMA USA to, be one of the guys to step up and beat him on the main card, in the promotion with World Series of Fighting. It means a lot, to not only get more exposure for myself, but, for the promotion as well, and representing them as champs. Yeah, winning in the BammaCage consistently, winning the title, and getting a lot of exposure, opened up a lot of doors for me, to fight abroad and fight for world titles. Recently had my first pro boxing debut as well. So opened up a lot of doors, and it's great to come back and defend my belt for BAMMA, where, basically where I've kind of paved my career. Yeah, my opponent, Rob Gooch, I got a chance to see him fight, my training partner in his last fight, so I was cage side and got a chance to see what he was about. He's good everywhere. I knew after that fight, he was asking for the belt, so I knew eventually, we'd go at it. We got a chance to train with him at least once. So it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be a good fight, but I feel that I have the edge and experience that, I face guys, at a higher level, and this is going to be his first opportunity to get 5 rounds and to fight somebody on my level. So the pressure's on him to have to prove himself that he can compete at this level. Yeah, originally this fight was supposed to take, place in January. It got pushed back a little bit, but for me, it's not a big deal. I'm always training. I'm always training to improve. I'm training to, I don't necessarily train specifically for opponents. Because just like you see in the fight business, guys get swapped around all the time. You might have to fight somebody on a couple of days' notice, a week notice, or whatever it may be. So I don't put all my eggs into one basket as far as training for one single person. So now that this fight's taking place a little postponed, it's not a big deal. I've been training hard, and I'll be ready when February 20th comes, and he better be ready as well. Yeah, well, for Rob, this is going to be his first time under the big lights. I've done it multiple times. It's going to be bigger crowd, bigger venue. That stuff doesn't bother me. I'm excited for the lights. I like, a lot of people, they get nervous having a bunch of eyes on them. I fought on national television in the main event a couple times already. It doesn't bother me at all. To be out there in front of the crowd. So he's going to have to go out there and not only fight a high-level guy, but he's have to do it in front of a lot of people while dealing with the lights. So, on paper, I'm the champ, so I have to, I'm the champ, not just on paper, but, people will think that the pressure's on me, but the pressure's going to be on him. I'm going to walk in there and go in there and cool, calm, and collected as I always am, and it's going to be up to him to have to not only get through the lights and the cameras, but he's also going to have to deal with fighting me in the cage at the same time. Yeah, when I first started, it was just me and my wife, didn't have any kids, so it was just, we'd be in here, she'd be in the gym training as well, and I'd just be training, taking fights, I had my first 12 fights were like in my first 16 months, just taking fights, winning fights, and it was easier to get fights early on, people didn't know who I was, but as I grew more and more, and, became champ, then it's a little bit harder to get fights now, it's where guys are picking and choosing, for me, if it's offered, my coaches say yes, I'll fight whoever. But now having a family and having to raise my kids and spend more time with my wife, and it's kind of slowed down for me. But at the same token, I'm always in the gym training as well. I'm always in shape. If the right opportunity comes across the table, I'll fight. So it's just later in my career as I've grown and become a better fighter and got more exposure. You're not getting too many offers the way I was in the beginning, because guys will just fight you or whatever. Now it's like where guys are kind of picking and choosing when to fight me, and it's taking a little bit longer to get fights. But for me, I'm still that same guy. If the opportunity comes where BAMMA's like, hey, we need you to fight 6 times this year and defend your title 6 times this year, I'll defend my title 6 times this year. It doesn't matter to me as long as I'm healthy and I'm in good health, and I'm able to go in there and fight. I'll go in there and fight. The slowing down really hasn't been a conscious thing. It's just more of just, fights are not as coming across the table as quickly as they were in the beginning. Probably the one thing I've had as now that I've grown in the sport, to develop more relationships. I'm getting a chance to train with other guys. I trained with Nan Pham, last week. Get a chance to train with Victor Henry, Pedro Munoz. These guys that are high-level fighters. I basically, I'm not going to find anybody better than that, at least for right now where I'm at. So I'm training with guys that are higher level than the guys I'm going to be fighting. So it gives me experience to get in there and get my butt kicked a little bit and learn some new techniques and learn a bunch of different things. But as far as camp goes, I've had between amateur and pro, this is my 31st fight. So, I've got it down packed in terms of where I know what my body responds to in terms of, setting up a camp and, getting the most out of my body and getting the most out of my training. Now it's just been being able to add, some more pieces and add some more high-level training partners to get that experience in. But other than that, coaches and everything and training is pretty much the same. Fighting abroad has gotten me a lot of exposure. You get media outlets that that want to get me on interviews, that'll hit me up, on social media, and just more fans in general. I have people from I've never met, from Oregon asking me to send one of these shirts out there and to sign it for them. It's crazy to me because for me, like, I don't get starstruck because I don't see anyone else's being his life being above anyone else's. So the same token for me, I don't see my life being above anyone else. But it's great when you have people that have watched your fights online, that have watched your fights on TV, you've never met, asking for autographed T-shirts. I think it's pretty cool, and it's refreshing, that people appreciate the hard work that you're putting in, because a lot of people don't get a chance to see what you do inside of the gym, and the sacrifices and stuff that you have to go through. So fighting abroad and continue just building and put on good fights, it's grown my fan base, not just here in California, but around the United States for the most part. Yeah, the great thing about it is me growing, and when I started off as and learning from all the veteran guys and learning from my coaches coming up. The great thing about it is I've had the opportunity to work with really good coaches. And their leadership has rubbed off on me. So now that I'm the veteran guy and I've had all the fights, and all the guys, even some of the veteran guys who when I started off were teaching me, now they're coming to me for for advice and things on how to work the training camp and work their striking and things like that. So learning from my coaches and learning from them, I felt like it's been an easy transition, in between fights or even during my training camp, where I'll step aside and I'll work things with them, I'll work technique with them, I'll hold pads for people. Even at my job, where I have clients that that I'm personal training for, they want to learn boxing, they want to learn kickboxing, and I'm teaching them. And for me, it's refreshing. This is I have an opportunity to in my opinion, I have two of the best jobs in the world as far as because I get to do what I love, And for me, it's kind of hard to call it work. It's work because it is a job. I have to do my job and I get paid for it. But it's what I enjoy doing. I enjoy fighting, and I enjoy helping people improve their lives. And I think people see that and they gravitate towards me. And I've been successful at my job, and I've been successful in my fight career, because of it. So transitioning from being the newbie a couple of years ago to being the veteran, I don't feel like it's been difficult at all. And for me, I feel like it's helped me because I'll go over things, the little details and stuff that I've learned that you forget sometimes in the bigger scheme of things. So when I'm sitting there trying to teach someone, how to proper foot placement, how to throw a jab, and how to keep their hands up, it reminds myself that I have to do that as well too. So transitioning into being the guy that's looked up to, I feel like it's continued to help my career evolve as well. As a fighter, if you want to get beyond where you're at, if you want to grow in this sport, you can't just rely on other people. You can't rely on your promoters. You can't even rely just simply on your manager. It's going to be up to you. It's a part of the job. When you become a fighter, you put yourself out there in the media. You put yourself out there to be judged. You put yourself out there to be criticized. So how you carry yourself is going to reflect your overall character. If you want people to come and watch you fight, a lot of times there's a lot of guys that can fight. There's a lot of guys that can come in. You can throw two guys off the street and put them there in a street fight, and the casual fan is just going to be like, they're going to be screaming because guys are just punching, and swinging. So it's up to you to set yourself apart from everyone else. You can't just come in there and just be the normal quiet guy and just go in there and blue collar guy and fight anymore. It's just not the way it works. It's great. I respect those guys, but at the same token, if you want to get somewhere where you're going to be, if you want to do this for a living, you're going to be making a living, you're going to have to set yourself apart. You're going to have to market yourself. Whether it's coming up with a nickname, whether it's coming up with a YouTube channel, whether it's having a podcast, whatever you may be. That's what the next level of these fighters are doing. And you see guys at the higher levels, they're getting that exposure, and people complaining about it was like, that guy's putting in the work. After you're done training, you go home and you go to sleep, the guy's on his social media, he's making videos, he's doing whatever. That guy's putting in the work to put himself there. It's not his fault that people want to see him. Well, it is his fault, but it's not it's, you know, if you want that, then do that. You don't necessarily have to go and you know, and be a jerk or be a dick about it if that's not in your character. But there's other things you can do. You know, I'm not a jerk or a dick by any means, but people want to come and see me fight. People, you know, the name Flash is synonymous with me. You know, because I've put in that work, I've put it out there. You know, I call my fans the Flash Mob. They like that. You know, I plan to have, you know, a bunch of T-shirts where it says Flash Mob and have this logo on there. You know, it's you have to market yourself as well. The promotions, you know, if you have opportunity to fight for promotions that'll promote you, that's great. But you have to do your part as well too. The promotions, you know, a lot of the casual fans, maybe they're not following BAMMA USA on social media. They're following you, so you can't expect them to, you know, to see all the stuff that's being promoted through them. You have to do it likewise. So you know, if you know, whoever you're fighting for, if they post something, repost it. It's as simple as that. You know, and I've understood that from the beginning, and it's grown my fan base. You know, I went from having 300 followers to having 2,000 followers. You know, just simply because of that. You know, so I think it's important for, you know, the fighter. You got to promote yourself as well. Flash MMA, Flash_MMA on Instagram, Flash MMA on Twitter, on Facebook, just Terrion Flash Ware. You can follow me on all those. You know, follow me, I follow back. You know, you answer questions. You want to ask questions. I'm always on it. I'll answer it for you. If you want one of these T-shirts, I'll be happy to, you know, send you out one and sign it for you as well too. And so follow me. I'll follow back and you know, get all the updates on what's going on with me. What it means to me to be the champion, I mean, you know, for BAMMA USA, it's great. You know, I'm the first and only 135 champion. It means a lot to me because people look up to me. You know, when I go out to the fights, you know, all around, you know, California, people are synonymous with, oh, that guy's the BAMMA USA champion. So you know, for me, I feel it's important because it does get me, you know, it gets me more exposure. It gives me other opportunities to do things. You know, people want to, you know, interview me. You know, people want to take pictures with me, which is still kind of, you know, new to me and weird to me, but I'm getting used to. You know, but it's cool. You know, and you know, I like the idea of being a champion. You know, when I got into the sport, you know, you don't get into the sport to just kind of fit in, just kind of fight. Like, my goal was to be a champion, and I've reached that goal, and then now I'll do everything I can to keep it and to remain there. You know, and that's what I'm working hard for, and you know, being able to, you know, use that being a champion here and to get to the next level. I just want to give a shout out to Soul Electronics. I appreciate the headphones, great headphones. Shout out to Virus, you know, for sending me the gear, the shorts that I'll be wearing during the fight. Also Gamma Labs hooking me up with all the supplements and stuff that I need for, you know, to maintain a healthy training camp. Appreciate it. Shout out to all my training partners, the Systems Training Center, as well as A4 Fitness. Shout out to my coaches, Adam Lerner, Ian Harris, Pedro Munoz, and shout out to, you know, my wife and kids who, you know, put up with all my crap during training camp.